This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, July 21st, 2006, and this is episode number 129 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from MGMstudios.org. On today's show is the wife of the author of the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World, Dawn Testa. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you. Hello.
And also on tonight's panel is a woman who loves her Dole Whip, Carol Scopa, wife of Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you.
And another lovely lady is here, Mary Newell, wife of Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mary.
Hello.
On today's show, we're talking to Disney widows, and what we mean by this is our usual co-hosts of the show are dedicated to all things Disney, but we began to wonder what our significant others felt about our sometimes unhealthy Disney obsession. So we brought on their significant others onto the show, and we're going to be talking with them. So let's start off. Dawn, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Who was obsessed with Disney first, you or Len?
Oh, definitely Len.
Were you like a total oblivious to Walt Disney World?
No, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, so we went for grad night. We would go to Disney World in high school, and we were close enough that we would drive up, but we didn't go nearly as often as he and his family went, and we didn't have clothes with mice on them, and things in our car and theme music. We didn't go that route, so it was definitely Len.
And Carol, when did you and Stallion begin?
Stallion?
Well, who was obsessed first?
Oh, I definitely was. I brought him into the fold, so to speak.
Really?
Yes. I had been to Disneyland, and then we got married, and it was a real hot summer night in our apartment where we lived, and it was too hot to be in our bedroom, so we were laying out in our living room on the floor. And back then, because we've been married 1,000 years, there was no late night TV. So we had the radio on, and they came on with a announcement for a three-day, 2-night trip to Walt Disney World by Crimson Travel. So I said to Mike, "That's where we need to go." And he went, "What?" I said, "Yeah, we got to go there. That's great. We'll have a great time." And that's what happened. And I took him that one time, and forget it, ever since. Now he goes every chance he has.
What about you, Mary?
Well, I had never been to Disney World when we got married. And Michael had been as a child with his family. And we had been planning, before we were married, the whole family was planning a trip. And the airline that we had the trip on went bankrupt. And we lost our tickets, we lost our money, we lost everything. So when we got married, he really wanted to go, so we went on our honeymoon. And it was like, the spell was cast. So after that, we went back the following year. They had advertisements for the vacation club. He bought into the vacation club. And we go now, once. He goes more often than I do. I go once or twice a year. I'd say he goes about 3 times a year. And
I think that's a running trend with everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Something about my job doesn't want to let me off.
Yeah, I have that same problem with my job. They're not too friendly about letting me just leave. They expect you to be there when the kids are in school. They're very funny like that.
And they always pass it off as a research trip, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. Oh, it's all Len's fault all the time.
I agree.
Yeah, Len. Oh, Len needs me down there. Oh, Len wants to do this. Oh, Len and I are going to try out this new package. Oh, I said,
For Michael, if anybody in his family or any of his friends or anybody really who lives in North America is going to Disney World, he needs to go too.
Oh, Mike even goes for people who live in Europe. Oh, David and his family are going to be down there, so I think I should go down. Oh, we've got to see them. Or I think I have to go down and run a race so I can break another foot or something,
They need someone to show them around.
Right. My girlfriend made a rule when I'm down there. I'm not allowed to mention the names Mike or Len in her presence when I'm down there.
Well, it's fun when Len is down there. He's a lot of fun to be around him when they are. He's like a little kid every time you walk in.
He really is.
Oh, I know it. I've never seen someone get so excited over. I thought, Mike was bad, but he tops it. So he is fun to be in a park with.
He gets more excited than our 8-year-old.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Now, how do you tell friends and family that your husband is a Disney nerd?
I try
tell
not
my-
to.
That's a good way. I haven't tried that yet. No, I just say he's in a cult, We're trying, we're seeking help, but what can you do?
When we first got married, Len was working on this algorithm to do these touring plans. So, I think the first year of our marriage, he sat in an office building this algorithm, and I should have known at that point that this is a good indication of the rest of your life with this man.
True. Ever since we started bringing the kids down in 1990, Mike always wrote a trip report. So, and he would post it online, and everybody would read. So it came to the point where it was like, oh, I can't be mad at him because he might say something bad about me and post it. But and then also because he did write trip reports, we had to always do the Parks Commando style, so we could get as much into a day as possible. And back then when we had the kids and they were little, he couldn't go every time, so it ended up to be about every 2 years. So after that, one thing led to another.
Michael's obsession started on our honeymoon, and it has gotten worse over the years. It has gotten worse over the years. Every year it was something else, and because he has all the soundtracks, I can't tell you, like, we rode Horizons one day. We must have rode it like 10, 15 times in a row so that he could get the soundtrack perfect. He's a little obsessive compulsive about that. So we have I have sat by the park music coming out of the bushes. I have had to sit near a bush with the microphone out for hours at a time. It's just,
I know they are obsessed. When we're there in the Magic Kingdom at night, we can't leave until Mike hears the kiss goodnight at the castle at least twice. 5 more minutes. They shut the lights down in the park, Mike. It's time to leave. No, it's going to come one more time. Watch. And he stands there with the video camera waiting. But we can't leave. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we've been there since, first thing in the morning. He has to see it, and he records it every single time. And I don't know how many times he has it, but I think he thinks something's going to happen one time. I have no idea, but he's obsessed with that.
Now, here's the question. Do you visit your husband's websites?
Yes.
No.
I do.
Who said no?
That would be Dawn.
Okay. You don't just do you read the book, Dawn?
No. I did, the first time it came out, and he had quotes, and he showed me his, but not anymore.
What if you go to the bookstore? You're with a friend. You're in the bookstore. You know his book is in the travel section.
No.
No, completely.
No. I think I try and block it.
There you go. You try to get it on the banned school list.
Kinda.
That's a good idea.
Mary, do you listen to Mouse World Radio?
Michael has dropped a couple of them onto my iPod, so I do listen to them in the car and stuff, but I don't go on the websites, all that much.
Okay.
I've seen them, but I don't really spend a lot of time.
I feel bad about myself right now. I feel very non-supporting.
Well, my husband did put all of the episodes on my iPod, so
Yeah,
it wasn't something I requested.
The entire point of this podcast is just to make you feel bad
Really?
about how you treat us.
Oh, good. It's going well then. Okay.
This isn't fair, Matt. You have nobody here to bash you.
I asked my girlfriend. She said she has a headache.
Oh.
And we've heard that before.
Uh-huh.
This time it's working to my advantage.
Oh,
right.
outstanding.
But Len has actually called home from the park when our daughter was younger, and he would try and pretend that he was away for work, his real job.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And she would get on the phone and talk to him, and all of a sudden she'd hear this very distinct Disney sound and say, "You're at Disney World." And he'd be like, yeah. I'm like, "You just got busted." But he used to try and lie because she would get upset that he was going to Disney World without her.
Right. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Now, do any of you listen to this podcast on a regular basis?
I have no other choice. It's always playing. Every time I walk in, wait a minute, let me just listen to this. Just listen. You got to hear this. You got to hear this. So, yeah, we have no other choice. It's usually set up somewhere in the house and broadcast through the house. So, yes, but they are good. I must admit, I do enjoy them.
It could be worse, huh?
That's
Broadcast through my house.
Mary, we're putting that quote on the website. It could be worse.
Worse things have happened.
Don, what about you?
No, I don't. But I feel like I listen because Len's so loud
There you go.
that we can hear him throughout the house, so we kind of hear his side of things a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't really
same here.
listen to the podcast. I feel awful. I'm going to start listening.
Well, there you go. Guilt.
I'm going to start downloading it.
That's our new theory to get listeners is to
Guilt.
make guilt.
Guilt.
Guilt trip everybody into listening to the podcast. Now, why don't you, if you want to take a second here, why don't you share with us a funny story regarding your husband's Disney obsession? I'm sure perhaps one pops to mind quite quickly, but if someone has one, feel free to yell it out.
There are so many
kidding?
Disney T-shirts and I have finally had to start making him hang up other art besides Disney art because the only thing we have are cells and Disney posters, and people walk into the house and they're like, "Oh, are one of your kids Disney fans?" I'm like, "No, we have no kids. It's my husband."
I make Mike keep all that in his den. All his Disney things, but everybody who knows Mike buys Disney. I mean, everyone, strangers that, not really strangers, but people that just know us about town but aren't really friendly of us, they'll say, "Oh, look, we saw this, at a flea market," and they'll pick it up. It'll be a Disney ornament or it'll be a pin or something. Everyone knows how crazy he is, and everyone picks up things. And he's like a little kid for his birthday and stuff. If people don't send him a Disney card, he's like, "What? No Disney?" He's like, obsessed. Yep. And he has his whole Disney wardrobe. Every time we go down there, he has to buy some new shirts. God forbid, we only have 50 of them up in the closet, but we have to get a new shirt every time. I don't know how many Mickeys on a shirt you can have.
Well, Len, when he was running the marathon, I don't know if he shared this with you, but they used to put on sticks the peanut butter and hand them out to the runners.
Correct.
So they had the sticks out the second time he did it, and he grabbed a stick and he put it in his mouth thinking it was peanut butter, and it was Vaseline.
Ew.
That's great. I never heard that story.
I'm sure he'll appreciate me sharing it.
Mission accomplished, Don.
Yep. Poor thing. Len would rather donate a kidney than actually talk about emotions or feelings or have a conversation about that type of stuff.
Okay.
And show any real emotion or anything. And I remember being at Disney and him and Mike watching the fireworks were in Epcot.
Yep.
And I looked over and the two of them had tears in their eyes. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You're going to cry at some fireworks?" I remember just being stunned.
Really?
But yeah, they got emotional.
Does Carol or Mary, does Disney bring out a different side of your husband's as well?
Sometimes, every time we go to the American Adventure, he has to stay until everybody else leaves because he doesn't want to show anybody the tears. And he does cry every time he sees Wishes. I must say that. We actually have a friend that sometimes we meet down there who brings tissues for him when they watch Wishes. So he has that side that comes out, his feminine side, so to speak. Yeah, we bring a Midol down, to keep him in check.
I feel so much better.
He's a big kid in the park. He has to, make sure he does everything first, and if something's new and he's done it and I haven't, it's like we go on that attraction and he's like, oh, look, it's over there. Oh, it's over there. It's like every time he walks in, it's like, a new adventure for him.
Michael's like when we're at the parks, he's like, it's like having a kid with you. And we often go down, we don't have any children, but we often go down with nieces and nephews who we bring to the park. And several of the family members have commented on the fact that all of the adults will be in a group and the kids will be in a group, and there'll be Michael in the middle of the group and the kids tugging on him and playing in the fountains with the kids and, pointing things out. So, yeah, it's like having a kid in the park. I am now the proud owner of a bedspread from the All-Star Resort with, the picture of Ray Charles on it. It's so creepy. I just can't I can't sleep with it in the room. I feel like Ray Charles is staring at me. It's horrible. And he doesn't tell me. He's like, oh, I got it as a present. I'm like, oh, my God. And I don't know how I'm going to, explain it to people. People come over your house. They throw their coats on your bed. I'm like, how am I going to explain this?
It could be a bleach accident.
Yeah. Or you can send it to Mike. Anything he washes turns out different colors. He's really good
Ray
at
Charles
that.
will be Asian.
Now, each of our panelists, their husbands rather, have a certain obsession, if you will. That Disney aside, there's a certain thing about Disney, and I'm going to ask each of the wives over here about this obsession. I'm going to start with you, Carol. When you first went to Pop Century, did you ever think that this would be anything more than just a hotel stay?
No, not at all. To the point where, Scopa Towers, has a T-shirt, a pin. Even a little boy wanted his pin at the Disney last weekend. He was so excited, giving up his regular pin trading pin for one of those punch pins. But no, I never thought Scopa Towers would get where it is, where people actually, Mike is friendly with a travel agency, and they'll send him emails saying, look, somebody's asked to stay at Scopa Towers. So, yeah, it's quite funny. I never thought it would be that. I can't wait to go down in August and have my shirt on and see what happens. That ought to be interesting.
Don, what about well, I guess let's start with the touring plans. When you're down there with Len, do you allow him to do research?
No, and I feel really bad because every member of his family, his sisters, everyone has shed blood, lost toenails, spent time at the first aid station. And the one bit of research I did do was I did the Grand Floridian Spa.
That's an assignment.
But yeah, but he doesn't even ask me to. I think it's just no. Okay. I did the spa for him.
What a sacrifice, Dawn.
I do what I can.
It's all for a good cause,
Exactly. But I do. His sister has called me just in tears, crying, my feet are bleeding. I've been to the first aid. I can't walk anymore. And I'm like, just go back to the room. Are you kidding? And she's like, no, Len needs me. I was like, oh, I don't think I'm cut out. I don't think I'm cut out for that. I couldn't lose a toenail over it.
No. But Len calls Mike when we're down there and says, hey, can you do this?
Everybody, nobody can go down there without getting a little assignment.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. I get a call from Len all the time. Would you mind if we sent some strangers into your hotel room?
They want to measure your pillow fluffiness.
Right.
You beat me to it, Dawn.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, it's because he does it to our pillows first, to develop the method.
There we go. Oh, I know. We have to usually run between Splash Mountain and Space Mountain and see what the wait time are at different times of the day. That's usually what we need to do for Len.
And my favorite is when he travels, he brings duct tape, and he wants to bring a 2-liter bottle that's empty to measure things, and a little boom box. I'm like, it looks like a bomb making kit in here. They're going to X-ray your luggage, and you're going to go to Spooky Mahoof jail. I was like, you can't bring this. Buy it down there.
Spooky Mahoof jail.
They put the terrorists, the suspects, with their bomb-making kits in their shoes and in their suitcases.
And then Len Testa.
Yeah, exactly. But it makes me nervous, when he packs all that stuff.
Mary, now whenever I picture Mike recording stuff, I always have this scene from Ghostbusters with all that equipment on his back. Is it like that with him?
It's not quite that much equipment. He had for a while like a handheld, and he's managed to rig up a little like Walkman size recorder with a mic. But early on, yeah, it was something big. And I'm wondering, like, what do people think? We have been sitting by this freaking bush for 3 hours. Or we're sitting outside the bathroom and or we're on the same ride. That, like, by the end, I know the soundtracks by heart. And I'm like, I just can't go on this ride one more time. I just can't do it. I've been on every ride about, like, 15 times in a row, except It's a Small World, because I hate it and I refuse to go on it. But, or he'll stand, holding out the mic towards something. Or, and you gotta wonder what people are thinking. Like,
I'm surprised security doesn't stop them more often.
I know.
I know Len's been stopped and questioned a couple times about my security.
Oh, has he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when they were doing, like, the bus schedules and they were sitting at a bus stop all day writing down bus numbers and stuff, security had come out and said, "What are you doing?"
Well, you know what? That's it for us today. I'd like to thank our lovely ladies for coming on to the show. Carol, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Mary?
You're not going to ask about how much more laundry I have to do now that he's doing the show, or how many more dishes I have to do now that he's doing the show?
We're not going to get into that. That's a whole other show right there. Dawn, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for inviting.
And this has been episode number 129 of Walt Disney World Today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Dawn Testa, Carol Scopa, and Mary Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.